Voila! Hello everybody, it's Jeanette from Thermogroovers. Welcome to Friday night. Drink at the sink while I cook from the book, baby. Okay, I hope you can join me this Friday night wherever you are in the world. So I have lots of people joining me from across different places around the world, which is really exciting. I love bringing everyone together. The Thermomix does that, right? It brings everybody together. Now, while I'm waiting for everyone to join, I can see 4 of you so far, I need to get some sugar syrup out of the cupboard because I'm making a cocktail, right? So I hope you can join me for this one. Friday nights is about making something from my cookbook, but to be honest, I really like to have a drink from the sink while I cook from the book. So I'm hoping that you can all write down the recipe. There's no recipe for these cocktails that I make every Friday. Well, I sound like I've got a problem, but I make them on Friday nights, but sometimes I don't do a cocktail, right? Who's joining me? Lynn's there and Diane's there, and yes, happy Friday. Hello there, Cheryl. Nice. It's 7 a.m. in the UK. It's a little bit early to be having a cheeky cocktail, right? But you could do this as a smoothie, Cheryl. So we just leave the alcohol out. So what I'm doing tonight, I've got some fresh watermelon. Oh, this is delicious at the moment. And then I've got 1 whole lemon, which is made in the freezer. So I can put this in the Thermomix because it's the size of an ice cube. But if my lemon was bigger than an ice cube, hello everyone joining. I can see Kirsty, nice to see you too, and Donna and Victoria and Sue and Ray. Hi Angie, nice to see you too. If my lemon was bigger than an ice cube block, I would need to cut it in half to put it into the Thermomix frozen. So that is a general rule of thumb. I don't know that it's actually written anywhere. In all my years, 15 years of Thermomixing, we've always been taught that if you put something into the Thermomix frozen, it has to be the size of an ice cube. And so when I talk about ice cube, I mean like this, this size, right? It can't be the really big modern day ice cubes because really, like they're too big. So they're too harsh on your blade. And so that's a really important thing to remember. So if you've only got those ice cubes, hello Pam, hi Rhonda, hello there Rosalie and Lee, good to see you Amy. If you've got ice cube trays that are the modern style silicone ones, they're really, really big, just don't fill them all the way up. Only half fill them. There you go, you can fix the problem, right? Hello Marlene, good to see you joining, and Marie, happy Friday, and Pam. All right, so I've got some ice to go into the Thermomix as well. Sugar syrup, just to sweeten it up a little bit. I've also got some lemon gin. So this is the Bombay brand, and that's what the kids gave me one year for Christmas. I've got some limoncello. So I don't have vodka, so I'm using limoncello. And a little bit of gin, right? So not too much gin. And then I've got this delicious 300 Islands ginger elixir. This is what I got from Fiji. So I'm going to put a tad of this in there as well. So I really think the watermelon, lemon and ginger, it's going to work perfectly, right? What do you think? Hello, Vicky from hot Donnybrook in WA. Let me guess the temperature. It's 37 today. Is that how hot it is? Cheers, Debbie. All right, let's make this cocktail. I'm going to do it in the TM7 because I've got my garlic in here ready to peel. I wanted to show you because I didn't get to do it last night, so I thought I'd do it with you today. Using the blade cover, you can do it on a 5 or a 6 or a 7. This cocktail can be done in a 31, a 5, a 6 or a 7, right? Hey Paul, good to see you joining. Are you going to make some yogurt too? I'm actually going to show you the yogurt that I made last night, Shaya. So I hope you can stay around and watch that. I'm going to get it out of the fridge in a second, right? But I just need to make my little drink. Oh, Vicky, it's 35. I was close. I was close. All right, we measure with our heart. I always do that when I make cocktails. Now, I'm not going to have to worry about breaking this up because it's a soft fruit. So I'll weigh this for you and then you know how much I'm putting in, right? Now, watermelon is really watery. It has a lot of liquid. So it'll make a lot when you put it in a cocktail because it just basically turns to water. So I've put in, let's see how much it is. 169 grams, so 170 of watermelon, fresh watermelon. You can use frozen if you've got that. And then how much lemon? Let's see who's writing this down. Who's taking notes? 20 grams of lemon, right? Now we need to put the ice in to break up the fibre. And because the watermelon is full of water, it's not so fibrous. So we don't have to worry so much about putting so much ice in. Now let me just put the scales on. So I'm going to put in, but I don't want it to be too runny. All right, so 85 grams of ice, and then I can keep that if I want to make another one later. All right, let's put in the goods. So a little bit of ginger syrup, and I'm going to go probably 20 grams. There we go, 20. And then I'm going to go 20 grams of limoncello. That'll take it, whoa, it might have been 30. Whoopsies. And then a little bit of gin. Let's go 30 of gin. Or is that going to be way too much? No, it's not going to be way too much. Right. Now I'm not putting any soda water in this. I'm just going to keep it simple. But what you could do is put some champagne in it after you serve it up, or you can put some soda water in it to dilute it down a bit if it's got a little bit too much on it, right? Oh, who have I missed? I've missed a lot of you coming in. Hello there, Jenny and Vicky and Debbie. Who have I missed? Pat and Liana and Janet. Good to see everybody joining. Is it cold in Melbourne? It is not cold here. It's about 25 degrees here in Tassie. It's got hotter in the afternoon. Melissa, I don't have a name for this one, but you guys can come up with a name for me if you like. Now I'm going to put in about 20 grams of sugar syrup. So 20's the number tonight, right? Hello, Suzette. Good to see you joining. All right. Now remember, we use speed 10 if we never wanted to again, or you can swipe and use your blend mode, which the default setting is 8. So you can just move it up to 10 if you want to. 8 will work, but 10's a little bit quicker. Away we go. Happy days. I'll just put these aside. I've got my straw ready. And that can go to the worms. All right, that's long enough. What's that? That was like 30 seconds, 20 seconds, right? So this is long enough. Hello there, Vicky. Yes, and she's saying, hello, Thermogroovers. I love it when you say good day to each of us on here as groovers. All right. So this is fairly like liquidy in comparison to what I normally do. So let me hold it up. Actually, I'll see if I can tilt you down a little bit. Hello there, Kim. Good to see you. Let's pour it into here. Now you could put some lemonade in this if you wanted to. Or, oh, I better taste it first. I generally taste it. It's a winner. That is a dead set winner. I hope somebody wrote that down because this is delicious. Oh, look, it's the perfect amount for Jeanette. Look at that. Ta-da! Oh, yeah, baby. That is so much better than what I thought it was going to be. That's a knockout number, right? Absolutely knockout. The flavour is on point. The lemon in there works perfectly. Yay, Pam, you wrote it down. Thank you so much. Can you send it to me? I think you guys are going to love this over the weekend. So if some of you probably already have watermelon in the fridge or in the freezer. I think the fresh stuff is better than the packet bought stuff. But look at that. Look at the little head on that. Doesn't that look good? I feel like I'm in the Caribbean. Or the Caribbean. Is that how you say it? Hey, Jim, if you're watching in the lounge room, come and get a sip of this because there's not going to be anything left once I finish, right? All right, let's move on to the next thing. I am making some pastry. I've got my trusty pie maker here. Diane, I think whoever's written down all my cocktails, can you just send it to me? Because I will have to go back and try and watch most of the lives that I've saved, but a lot of them were deleted by Facebook, so there's no, like they didn't even happen. Yvonne, it's delicious. Let's make this at your demo when I come down to the East Coast. I hope your girlfriends are up for that. We can do that, right? Hi, Raylene. Nice to see you joining. Victoria, I think you would really love this one. Absolutely. If someone's written it down, can you just pop it in the thread and then everyone can take a screenshot of it and then we're all good for the weekend, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, let's get on to the next thing. So I'm just going to make some pastry because I'm going to turn that filling I had last night into pies. Now, we don't have much of the filling left because I've eaten it. But that's okay. I think I'll get about 4 pies, which will be good. 32, Faye, on the Gold Coast. It's a little bit warm. Woo! Yes, the cocktail book. I mean, I should just try and put something together, shouldn't I? Oh dear. What would I call it? Groovy moving cocktails? I don't know what I'd call it. All right, let me get my pie cutter out before I forget. So it's in the depths of, here we go. So this is the template that I use to cut the shape out for the pies, right? So I need that. I think you can buy these online if you don't have one with your pie cutter, but apparently the pie cutter is supposed to... Oh, there you go, Pam, you're a gem. Look at her go. There you go, everybody. Click on that and then take a screenshot, right? And cheers. I don't know what we're going to call it. I just don't know. It's pink, it's smooth, and it's a surprise. It's a surprise. It's so good. All right, I'm going to make the pastry, but when I've done the pastry, I'm going to put some ingredients in both Thermomixes to saute, and I'll explain to you why in a second. All right, I'll do the garlic in a sec, but I'll get another bowl out just because I've got a spare TM6 bowl. And I'm going to make the pastry in the 7. So I've got the butter in the freezer because it was only out for a short while. It went quite soft. So you can use frozen butter in the bulletproof pastry recipe. Now the bulletproof pastry recipe is in both ebooks, and the reason why is because I use it for the sausage rolls and the egg and bacon bites in the first book, which is called Way More Than a Yogurt Recipe. And in the second book, which is called Way More for Your Family, I use it for the vanilla slice. Now, one of my new customers, I was trying to think of who it was. The first thing she made when she got her TM7 was the vanilla slice. So she got right into it, which is awesome. Oh dear. A pink health kick. Crystal, do you reckon it's healthy? Dedicated Groovers cocktails. I love it. Oh, Vicky, send me a copy of your screenshot. I've probably got my mouth open. All right, so ginger syrup, what you can actually do, you could just buy like a ginger liqueur and put that in it if you wanted to. But it's basically, if you put a little bit of ginger, like fresh root ginger in there with the sugar syrup, it'll give you the same sort of finish, right? So I have to actually make it. I'm going to try and make the recipe. Yeah. Jeanette's Friday Groovers cocktail book. I like that, Sue. That's awesome. Yes, Jennifer, your pastry would be fine in the freezer. If it's been there for a little while, it would still be perfectly fine. Okay. Yes, lemon and ginger is immune boosting. That's right, Crystal. So that's the health kick. I like that. All right, we're going to put in the flour and then throw in the butter. Now, someone had a question today in our community group, which is called We Cook Way More Than a Yogurt Recipe. If you're not in the group, go and join the group. Great group. Everyone's so helpful in there. I absolutely love the fact that you guys help each other out so much. Someone asked if you could use self-raising flour to do the bulletproof pastry. I would prefer that you used plain flour. If you don't have plain flour, you can use baker's flour. So that's another option as well. It's just that self-raising flour has the leavening agent in it, which will give it rise. So that can affect the end result, the texture of it. And so I prefer if you just use plain pastry, but they didn't have enough flour to make the pastry. So that if you can make it up with a little bit of self-raising flour, that won't be so bad, okay? Drinks at the Sink. That's the title of the book, Jenny. I love it. Everybody know it belonged to me, right? Yes, Janet. This syrup that I used, so it's actually still got the ginger in it. So when I hold it up, you can actually still see the pieces of ginger in there. So it's not real thick like an elixir, but it's really, really good. And I think someone from Thermomix has actually created the recipe because that was a challenge, a competition that they put out after we come back from Fiji. The kick is appropriate. Good, Crystal, absolutely. I think it's a big kick, like a mule, right? I'm going to make another one of those. That is really, really good, right? Butter's in. Okay, we're just going to, oh, wrong lid. I do that all the time. All right, we just turn that up. Give it a good zhuzh. All right. And then I'm just going to drop the yogurt in and give it a knead. And it doesn't knead for very long. It doesn't need to be kneaded. And this is vanilla yogurt that I'm using because my Greek is out in the fridge, which I'm going to go and get in a second because I need to take some out of it for the easy peasy creamy chicken. All right, we'll put that on to knead and away we go. I better set the timer because I tend to do this for too long if I don't set the timer. All right, put that in there. And whilst that's doing that, I'll just duck out to the fridge. So after yogurt's finished fermenting, remember we've got it set at a temperature higher than room temperature. So it's still going to be warm if your yogurt has only just finished fermenting. Now, if you disturb the yogurt as soon as it's finished, it can interfere with how it stabilises. So my suggestion is, once it's finished, is to put it in the fridge, right? Take the whole bowl and put it in the fridge. Because that actually helps with the cooling of it. Yes, Michelle, I have. I've lost a fair bit of weight, and that was in preparation of my hip operation. So I feel fantastic. I'm moving a lot better since my hip operation. You can probably see I'm a bit faster. So once you've taken your yogurt out of the cradle, put it in the fridge, let it chill. I like to let it chill for at least 8 hours. Sometimes I've left it in there for 3 days. So it doesn't matter if you do that. But I'm about to take some out, and I need to take a little scoop out for my startup. Right, so let's have a look at this. Now in the other Thermomix, I'm just going to put some water in here and peel these garlic, right? Just 600 grams worth of water. And put it on for like 30 seconds, 30 to 45 seconds. I find that that's long enough. Measuring cup, where are you? Here we go, there's one. So I'll just swipe. Now if you've got a TM5, it's speed 4. That's what you need. It doesn't matter if it's in reverse or not, but you need speed 4 if you don't have a mode. So I'm just going to go into peeler, change the time. We don't want 4 minutes. I'll put it on for 40 seconds and then we'll see how we go. And you'll see the skins float to the surface of the water. All right, and then I'm going to get a scoop of this yogurt out, right? Oh, so yummy. And I'll turn my pie heater on so it warms up. Now that's been 20 seconds. And I'll just have a little look and see if it's taken the skins off. Yeah, it looks pretty good. So what you can see start to happen is the water gets underneath the skin and it basically makes it come off, right? So that's what it does. So can you see in the bowl? Yeah, there's quite a few in there that have come off. And it's quite gentle, even though it's going fast. It just tumbles the garlic, so it doesn't really damage the garlic. So then I'll just put that in a basket and strain it. There we go. I'll tip it out here. I'll show you what it looks like in a second. 3, 2, 1, we're nearly done. There we go. Unlock your magic. Thank you. There we go. You can see there. Ta-da! Look at that. So if you're not doing this, here's your little calling to have a little go at doing it, right? So I'm just going to pour that into the simmering basket to strain, and then I'll pick them all out later. So I can show it. There you go. Look at that. So you can see these ones that are not quite done, you just have to push them out. They'll come out really easily. Just like when your garlic is roasted, you can just push the skins off. There we go. So they just go pop. If you have 2 hands, maybe. So I'll do that. There you go. Look at that. See? Easy peasy. All right, someone's trying to call me. Sorry, Emily. I'll ring you back. All right, we'll set that aside, and I'll sift through that shortly. And then in this one, I'm just going to put the ingredients for the easy peasy creamy chicken. Judith, yay! You're going to make it so much easier now, being able to peel your garlic. That's awesome. All right, we're going to put in some oil. And I'm going to go into the guided recipe of sautéed onions, sautéed capsicum. And we're going to saute the ingredients for the easy peasy creamy chicken. Now I'm making this, tonight I'm doing some sauteing. Oh, that's over kneaded. How come that didn't stop? Oh dear. Look at that. It looks like creamed butter. Okay, so how do I fix it? I'm just going to put some more flour in there and mix it through. Rhonda, I put it in a jar and then pour olive oil over the top of it, and then I put it in the fridge, and that's how I store it. Or you can freeze it. Either way, right? Hello, Mary. You have hellish relish cooking in your TM6 and your house smells beautiful. Awesome. Pleased you've got someone cooking. Let me just fix this pastry. Oh dear. It's only ever going to happen to me, right? So I do the things so that you guys don't make the same mistake as Jeanette. So I'm just going to put in a little bit more flour. I don't know how much I put in, but let me just keep kneading that through, but I'll stop it, right? I'll give it a couple of little seconds to get through. And this one we are, right, that'll do. I'm putting in the capsicum, and actually I don't want to put all of it in there. Let me tip it out again. I'm going to put probably 3/4 of it in there because I'm doing one vegetarian for Amy because I can't leave her out. That's not fair. So I'll do one vegetarian. So I'll put the bacon in this one, right? And I'll just throw a little bit more oil in there because I think I just tipped some out. And then we're just going to saute this. And we'll go through the steps. Done, start. And I'll use this because I can't find my splash guard. There we are. So that's done. Okay, I've fixed my pastry. I'm sure it's going to be okay. And I need to scrape this out so I can use the bowl. So I'll do the yogurt in a second. There we go. Are you keeping up? I've got a bit going on. Now I also want to cook some pasta. So I'm going to do that as well tonight. Because I'm going to turn with the easy peasy creamy chicken, I'm going to put cooked pasta through the mixture when I bake it in the oven, okay? Suzette, how long does the garlic last for in the fridge? Oh, well, I probably don't. It depends on how much you want to peel. So only peel as much as you need for, say, probably a month. And then, peel some more. So that's what I would do. And if you're not sure, you can always freeze it. And then once it's defrosted, you could store it in a jar. You could do it that way as well. Can't say why you couldn't, right? All right, there's the pastry. So we'll scrape this out. Now, let's see if it's really bulletproof. Because, I called it that because you could do anything with it. Whether you fold it or you don't fold it, it still slightly puffs up. So this will be a good test because I've definitely over kneaded this tonight. So let's see what it turns out like. I don't think I've ever kneaded it for that long. I thought I set the timer, but clearly I didn't. Okay, done. Right, we'll just flick off the blade to get the excess out of there. And then I can put the other ingredients in here to saute, which are the vegetarian option, right? And then once that's done, I'll just flick that off. We'll go turbo. Done. And again, right there. And then we're good to go. So I'll just give it a quick wash under the sink, right? Do you freeze it in the olive oil? No, I don't, Vicky. I just store it in the fridge with the olive oil. That's all I do. Yep. It does teach you, Anna. Correct. Seeing things happen with me definitely gives you guys a shortcut to the learning. And you can see how easily I do things. But I've got a few tabs open whilst I'm talking. There's lots of things going on through the brain. All right. Right, we'll just give that a rinse under the tab and then I can move on to the next thing. And I'm not going to rest the pastry in the freezer. I'm just going to go straight into building the pies whilst I've got something else cooking in the Thermomix. There we go. Right, that's pretty good. Done. So what we're going to do is just go straight into the browning mode on the TM7. And I'm just going to throw in a little bit of oil. Now, can you see what I'm doing? I haven't moved the camera up. Yes, you can. Great. Let me move you a little bit more. Can you have the recipe for the fresh milk yogurt? Absolutely, Sandra. But if you do this, the timing is still all the same, but use the full amount of pot set for the recipe if you're doing a half batch, okay? That's most important to do that. Okay, where's my other things? So I've got capsicum and mushrooms, and I'm actually going to put a little bit of sweet potato in here for Amy. There we go. So in it goes. And then we're just going to go into the browning mode. So the difference between the two machines is you can use browning mode on your TM6, but it's through a guided recipe on Cookie-Doo. Whereas on the TM7, you can just opt to select the browning mode on the screen, and then you put your time in. So the default time is 10 minutes. So we're going to do this for 13 minutes, and I'm going to do it on intense. And then that's all we have to do. Easy peasy. All right, let's see how we go with the pastry. Moving on. And feels great. Doesn't feel any different than what it normally does. So I'm just going to roll it around in the flour a little bit, only because it's so sticky. Let me point you down here. There you go. Can you see there? Yes, you can. All right, so I'm just going to get the pin out, the rolling pin, and I'll do a couple of folds, and then we'll cut it. So let's see how the pie maker's looking. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful, right? Let me point you up a little bit more. There we go. Done. Now, what have I missed there? No, I haven't missed anything else. All right, so we'll do a couple of folds. And what you want to do, you want to roll the pastry. You don't want to stretch the pastry. And I'm going to have to use a little bit extra flour just because it's so soft, because of my little mishap. Right? We're just be gentle with the baby. So typically I wouldn't use this amount of flour, but given the circumstances, I need a drink. We'll do another fold. Oh, it's probably going to turn out to be the best pastry I've made, you know. Sometimes that's what happens. So I usually do like 3 or 4 folds. Some people don't do any if they haven't got time. So if you haven't got time, don't stress about it. Just get into it and roll it out. There we go. Now, the reason why we rest it in the fridge is to let the glutens relax. But I must say, I've not had anyone eat my pastry before and take a bite of my pastry and go, Jeanette, you forgot to let your glutens relax. That's never happened. So don't stress too much. Cooking shouldn't be stressful. And sometimes some people overthink things. So just relax and get into it and just, you know, be guided by my rebelness. I'm a little bit of a rebel. What do I mean little? I mean a lot, right? Now, Vicky, you had to buy a pie maker after watching me make the pies. I love that you did that. That's awesome. If you don't have a pie maker, this could be a little event you might like to do over the weekend. And look, pies are really nice in the summer because you can have them with a bit of salad, but they're also good in the winter because you can have them with your vegetables. So it's really good to have them in the freezer ready to go. It just makes life just that little bit easier because we need it easy sometimes. We do a lot of things. We have a lot of tabs open. So it's really nice for us to just pull something out of the freezer and then be able to add something to it for a quick meal. All right, so a little bit more. We need that a lot thinner than what it is. You don't want it too thick. So sometimes when you make a pie, you've got to get your ratios right. So getting the right amount of filling versus the thickness of the pastry is always important. So, now this can be bigger than what it is. So let's go that way. There we go. I'll get a bit of length on the pastry that way. And as you can see, I'm just gently rolling it and not pushing it, just rolling it out. Work from the centre to the outside. Beautiful. All right, and then your little offcuts, you use those as well. You don't throw those away. And so I usually stack them on top of each other like that and then roll them out and then do a fold again. that seems to work really, really well. Oh, I need to have this on. There we go. All right, that smells delicious over there with the sautéing. So once this finishes, I'm going to put the pasta on to cook. So I'm just going to fill the kettle up and just cut down my time. I'll boil the kettle and put the boiling water in the Thermomix to cook the pasta. And then I'll stir the cooked pasta through the easy peasy creamy chicken. Now that easy peasy creamy chicken recipe is from the first book, Way More Than a Yoga Recipe, right? Hello there, Lisa from New Zealand. Good to see you. Cheers to Friday night, drink at the sink while we cook from the book. Let me get the filling out of the fridge. I should have had that out so it wasn't stone cold. And I'll show you how much we've got left. Because I had this for lunch today and so did Jake. So that's how much I have left. I'll show you the consistency of it. Now I want that spoon for my yogurt, so I'll use this one. So you can see once it's cold, it's actually really quite thick. You can see it's actually held the shape of the container. And that's what you want for a pie. You don't want it runny. You want it nice and thick. Okay. So sit that there. Sit that over there. All right, back to the pastry. I'll just roll that out a little bit more. All right, it's warming up in my kitchen, so I'll have to work fast. Let me flip this over. Now you can tell when I'm concentrating because I actually stopped talking. There we go. Just like that. A little bit more. Even the shape of that up and the sides off. It's looking really good. Hey Wilma, good to see you on. Nice for you to join. Some of you might be watching the replay later, and I will upload this onto YouTube so that when Facebook delete my content, we've got somewhere to go back and watch the replay. Okay, let's get the, this is the mould. So the one with the lines in it is for the base, and that's for the lid. So we'll do a couple of bases. There we go. One. Oh, it's very soft. See how soft it is. 2, 3, 4. Right. And then I'll do some lids. We'll get as close to that as we can. 1, 2, 3. Oh, that's pretty good. I've got 3 lids and 4 bases. All right, now I'm just going to mix this up to soften it a little bit so it's easier to spoon out. Now I don't brush the top of the pastry because it's got enough butter in it and it browns up nicely in the pie maker. So I tend not to worry about that. And what I need to do, get a bit of paper towel, is I need to make a lid so I can put them all in together. So I don't want to put 4 bases in and then spend time making one of the lids. So what I'm going to do is seal this pastry, right? And I'm just going to be really clever and roll one out straight away. I'm not even going to fold it. It's just going to look like that. And then I can make a lid. And the pies can be on cooking whilst I'm doing the next thing. Look at that. Ah, perfect timing. Sautéed ingredients are done. So let's have a look at the browning on there. So you see in the bottom of the bowl, you'll see all that lovely, delicious browning in the base. That's what we're after. Okay, now I need to set these aside. So I'm going to put the bacon one in here. All right. And then I'll use the TM7 to finish off the recipe. Oh, look at the browning. Look at that. How good is that? Now, you can leave your ingredients in here to sweat off a little bit, and what that will do will loosen all that browning in the bottom, so you can give it a good move around with the spatula and you'll get most of that browning off. But given that I'm, on a timeline with my live tonight, I won't worry about doing that. It nearly kills me not to do that, right? So, Actually, what I can do is leave it in there because I don't need that bowl. I've got spare bowls. Oh, yes, let's do that. Right, I can do that. And then the other one can go in there. Yes, now I can show you what I'm talking about, all right? So I'll set that one aside, and in this one, I'm going to put on the pasta, right? Because I need that cooked fairly quickly. And so I'm just going to put in a litre of water. So I'm just going to go to my scales. Or you can just, actually I might probably need a little bit more than a litre because I've got 300 grams of pasta. So I'll put in 1.5 litres, right? Now I'll just put my kettle mode on, which is 100 degrees. So if you've got a TM5 or a 31, you would do 100 degrees. So I'm just going to go kettle mode. There we go. Turn him on. Done. So that'll just bring it to boiling point because the kettle had finished a second ago. And then I'm just going to drop the pasta in, and I just cook it on soft stir. And in the TM7 you can use open cooking, or you can do it exactly the same as what I'm doing it now. Okay? All right. Now whilst that's doing that, let me turn the camera here so you can see me load in the pies. So I just set it over the top like this, and then you sort of overlap the pleats a little bit and push it down into the pie maker, and hold your mouth right. Now you get better at this each time you make the pies, and you become a pie magician, just like you become a yogurt magician. There we go. So overlap the pastry a little bit, and remember that will make it a little bit thicker as well. There we go. And then I'm just going to spoon in the chicken. Now I've actually mixed the chicken in with the curry filling, so if you want to do that, you can do that. Just makes it a little bit easier, but my recipe steps tell you to put the chicken in and then spoon in the filling. So let's put the filling in, and then we can put the lids on, and these can be cooking while I'm doing another recipe. There we go. Now I haven't done these on a live for quite some time, and if you go back to look at my live, you won't find it because it's gone. It's gone into cyberspace because that's what Facebook did. I lost a lot of content that I'd created here together with everybody, but that's all right because guess what? I'm still making content and I'm still cooking from the books. So we just make the recipes again and share all the tips again. There we go. Right, so I'm going to sort of push that down a little bit into the pastry case, and you'll see the pastry case starts to cook a little bit. Now you don't want to overfill it. You want it to be flat. And then we just, paper towel is really good at this point in time, and then we just put a lid on top. Okay? So I like to just press it down a little bit. Careful not to burn your fingers. There we go, that one. Now, sometimes it's good to make a little mound in the centre, just to give the pie a little bit more shape, but often it'll just squish down once it's got the lid on anyway. There we go. And I have a little pattern on the top of the lid, but if your pie maker doesn't have a little pattern, you could run a fork around, or the top, like the end of a spoon, and you can put some little imprints in it, but you've got to be careful because, well, not careful, you've got to be quick because it's hot and it'll melt. All right, time to go to bed, right? Let's let those pies cook. Now with your leftover pastry, this is where you would stack like this. Stack it up like this. Now you can freeze it like this if you want to. You can just put that in a snap-lock bag and freeze it and then get it out later. But my suggestion is to roll it out and fold it again. So if we just rolled it out like so, fold it. So what we're doing is just tidying it up, making it sort of resemble pastry. There we go. Fold it again. And then what I would do, what I would do is just roll it out, so that it's a sheet. Put it in between 2 layers of Glad wrap and then roll it up into a log and then wrap it in some paper and then put it into the freezer and freeze it. All right, so then you've got ready rolled bulletproof pastry. I'm just going to put that in a snap lock bag and pop it in the fridge for a little bit, and I might, if I can be bothered, I might roll that out later. Okay, so let's do that. Done. And that can go into the fridge. Let me show you the yogurt. Okay, so Helen, if you're watching the replay, you can watch it here on my Facebook page for 30 days from the day that I do it. But after 30 days, that replay will disappear from Facebook, but it will be on YouTube. So that's what I'm doing. I'm loading them up on YouTube. So it's just Thermogroovers. If you type that into YouTube, you'll find me. And if you go to the playlist, you'll see all of the lives. So hopefully that helps you find them, okay? If I brushed butter between the layers as you stacked it, it would make it, oh, Crystal. Oh, don't give me ideas. I'm a bit partial to a croissant. Absolutely. I could easily turn that into what you just described. Let me see who else would like to actually do that for me. And then you can roll them into a croissant. All right, now we don't even have a lot of mess there. Considering I'm a messy cook, it's actually quite tidy, right? So there we go, we've got the pies on cooking. Let's go to the next step of doing the pasta. So I'm just going to put that into the bowl and I'm going to cook it for 10 minutes at 100 degrees, just on soft stir, because that's what's on the packet. Now, if your Thermomix starts to bubble, and remember to put this on reverse, don't forget. If the water starts to bubble and come out the hole, you can put a little bit of oil in the water and that will stop it from bubbling a little bit more. Or you can just turn the temperature down to 98 degrees. That works really well as well, okay? Now, what have I missed here? Nothing. All right, moving on. Let's have a wee little drink and I'll move on to the next thing. Okay, so my sautéed ingredients have finished for the vegetarian option, and I've got my little vegetarian bowl for Amy, so I'm just going to scrape that out and we're going to move on to the next step in the recipe. So we'll put that in there, and that's got the sweet potato in it. So you can see there's still browning, even though there's no bacon in there, we've still got some browning. So let's do the next step, chopping the onion and the sun-dried tomatoes with some butter and just a little bit of oil. So, and some garlic, right? So, can you see me? Oh, only just. Let me move you back up again. Now, do you preheat the pie maker? Absolutely, Vicky. And how long do you cook them for? I actually keep checking to see how brown they become. So when they're nice and brown and the centre's all cooked, that's when I pull them out. The base will cook really quite evenly because of the temperature in the pie maker. And the one that I've got is a Sunbeam, the Pie Magic Traditional. That's what it's on there. All right, let's go into the manual mode on the 7 and we'll just give this a chop. There we go. Away we go. So that's doing its thing. And then all we're going to do is saute it off again, right? So just for a couple of minutes, 100 degrees, just on speed 1. That'll do. And then when that's finished, we're going to add, what else? We're going to add some flour and some wine. We're going to cook some wine off first, and then we'll add the flour to it, make a roux. And then I'm going to stir some of the sauce mixture through this with some pasta. And with dividing it up into 2 others, I'm going to do 2 here, 1 for Jim and 1 for Jake. So it's a family cook tonight. So that's how I'm doing it vegetarian. So I know there's a few people out there that are vegetarian, so you can omit the protein and you can put your own proteins in and make the recipe as per usual. It works perfectly fine. Okay, so pasta's on cooking. That's actually just at 95 degrees, so it's dropped a little bit in temperature, but that'll come up to temperature fairly quickly. The next thing I've got here is the chicken, which is way more than what I need. I've got 1 kilo. How much is in the recipe? It says 5 to 6 chicken breast or thigh. I reckon I've got like 10 here, probably 10 or 12. So I've really bulked it up a lot more just by adding extra protein. So if you want to do that with this recipe to stretch it out a little bit more, just increase the protein. You don't need to increase any of the sauce ingredients. It works perfectly fine. So I hope that's helpful for you. Now I've also got, let me just get these ingredients ready to go into the 7. I've also got ingredients to make a coulis. So tonight I've got some leftover passion pulp, and if you've been made my groovy citrus syrup, you'll find that there'll be a little bit of leftover pulp from the tin, and so you can freeze it in ice cube trays and pop it in the freezer for when you need it next. But tonight I'm making mango coulis as per the recipe out of book number 1, which is way more than a yogurt recipe. And I've just got frozen lemon juice here, which I often squeeze a heap of lemons and freeze the juice, and then it's just in the freezer. I didn't quite have enough lemon juice, so I've just added some passion fruit pulp to it because it's got that the citrus to it. So, and then the other is just mango, and I just need a little bit of sugar, which I haven't got out of the pantry yet. So I need a bowl. So let me get the TM6 bowl that's had the garlic in it. Let me just put some soap in that to get rid of the garlicky flavour, and give that a wash, and I can put the coulis in that one. Now the benefit of a Thermomix bowl is it's non-porous, so you don't hang on to any flavours in the bowl. So even though I've done that garlic, it's not going to interfere with my coulis. So thank heavens for that, because I don't want garlic in my coulis. Okay, so that one's washed up, ready to go. Let me do the lid. We'll do the same with the lid. And then it'll be happy days. When the pasta's finished, I'm just going to put the coulis on. Now most of you would only have one Thermomix. However, I know there's a lot of you out there that actually have 2 machines. Let's have a little bit of a... Oh, there goes a clove of garlic. Let's have a little bit of interest. Like, how many of you actually have 2 Thermomixes, and what do you love about having 2? Pop it in the thread, because often that can help everyone in regards to whether or not they think, oh, do I need another one? Do I need 2? Well, in my opinion, most men have 2 chainsaws, at least, or 2 drills. So for me, having 2 Thermomixes makes sense. Thank you, Victoria. Yes, you've just, someone just asked about the vanilla beans. So yes, 3 months in the cupboard. So give them a shake once a month. And that'll just, you know, distribute all the vanilla flavour amongst it rather than sitting on the bottom. And then after 3 months, you can use your vanilla. It's delicious. Okay. Oh yeah, that looks good. So that's all cooked off. Now we're just going to put the wine in and cook that off. And that just gives it additional flavour. So we'll cook that off for a couple of minutes. Done. And then I need to get the yogurt out. So let me show you the yogurt. I'll move these bowls out of the way so I don't get them anywhere near my yogurt. So I'm sorry if I've kept you waiting so you can see the yogurt. Okay. Oh yay, Ray, you have 2, you have a TM7 and a TM6. I love that. It's sort of like the black and white minstrel show, isn't it? You're just like what I've got here in my kitchen. Where did I put my little pot set? Here we go. So this is how thick the yogurt is. Now some of you mentioned last night that you've been making yogurt forever in the 6, and then you got a 7, and you said it hasn't been working in a 7. It works exactly the same way. Now Janet, you have a 6 and a 7. You can't get rid of your 6 because you used the cutter on it. Awesome. And you haven't really needed 2 together just yet. Oh, I'm so pleased that you love it. Definitely 2, Jennifer. You have 2s, which are handy, Bev. A 31 and a 6, Liana. Perfect. Was going to get the 7, but you're saving up to go to Italy. I don't blame you. The Thermomix can wait. Italy can't. Crystal, your ambition is to get a place that actually has the bench space so you can have 2. Well, fingers crossed. Anna, you've got a 6 and a 7. It's great that you've got a combo, because, you know, generally you fall in love with one model and then getting a second one is part of it. So now can you see on top of my yogurt, you can see it's got little bubbles on it. That's just the foam that was on top when I set it to ferment. I'm just going to get a scoop out for starter. Ta-da! Here we go. Look at it. You want to take a screenshot of that? That's how thick the yogurt is. Now this has been chilled in the fridge. So it will thicken up if you pop your bowl in the fridge and let it stabilise whilst it's chilling. There we go. That's going to go into the freezer. And then the rest of it is going to go into my containers that I only ever put yogurt in. So that's my biggest tip, is don't use containers that have had other foods in them. You need to have dedicated yogurt containers that have never had any other food stored in them, because what happens, the plastic holds on to residues of flavours and fats and oils, and that can contaminate your yogurt. So look at that. Oh, isn't it just the best? I never get tired of this. Now, if your yogurt hasn't worked using your TM7, it's not the TM7. There's something going on with your brew. So, you know, I'm quite happy to help people work out what's happening. And usually there's a culprit of some sort, not the Thermomix. Okay, well, look at that. I think the dogs are going to love this, right? Oh, Victoria, that was so lovely that you did that with your daughter and gave her a TM6. I'm sure she's absolutely loving it. Victoria's just taken delivery of her second TM7, so now she's got a his and hers identical in the kitchen, which is very exciting. So now she can interchange the bowls with each of the machines, which is absolutely wonderful. Look at that. Look at how thick it is. Ooh, I'm not going to turn this upside down. Oh yeah, I did. If I do it without the spoon, I did that last year, but the whole bowl fell on top of the bench. All right, let's spoon it back in again. Now you can see it's not runny or lumpy, and this is because I've given it a chance to chill in the fridge. So that's probably a really hot tip. Globally, I think everybody should do this globally. So Cheryl, if you're in the UK, I'd suggest that you do this, but chances are with your temperatures, you could just set the bowl outside and it'll chill. Oh, there's a bit more in there. I have to get back to that later. Now the reason I've got two TM7 bowls is only because I've got a second machine and I've just stolen the bowl out of the second machine so I could do my yogurt. There we go. Where's another lid? Here we go. So I'll pop this in the fridge. This is Greek yogurt, and then I've also got vanilla. Now I need 200 grams of this, so I'm just going to scrape some out of the bowl into the Thermomix to finish off the easy peasy creamy chicken. Now I think the pasta's finished, so let's have a little look at that. And I'll check to see if it's cooked. There we go. Oh yeah, that looks good in there. I'm just going to put some flour in to make a roux. So I'll cook that off for a little bit. Now that we've cooked the wine off and got those flavours in there. Done. And then I'll check the pasta. Let's see if this is cooked. If it's not quite cooked, it'll cook in the oven. Have I got the oven on? No. Oh, the pies look good. They're nearly cooked, right? They're nearly cooked. One is not quite cooked. Pasta's cooked. So you can use your Varoma. Use your Varoma to strain your pasta because it's not going to fit in the basket because it's doubled in size, right? So I'll just strain this out now. Beautiful. Now that shell pasta tends to break down really easily. So I cooked that for 10 minutes and it's plenty of time. So I'm just going to sit that in the sink until I need it. Right, and I'll just rinse this one out. And I can use this for the Coulis. Let's get rid of the pasta. Happy days. There we go, a little bit of pasta left in there. Done. All right, it's all clean. So I'm just going to put the Coulis ingredients in. So all the fruit goes in, and I'm just going to chop this before I start it to cook. All right. Let me just get a little bit of sugar. And I'm going to back off on the sugar a bit because the mango is really sweet. So I'm just going to put in half the sugar. Okay. Now I haven't checked my comments in the thread for a bit because I've had my head down, bum up. What have I missed? Oh, Janet, you've really needed to see me again to get inspired. Great. I love that. Oh, the pies, yes. Thank you, Meryl. They're nearly done. There's one there that's got a case on it that's not quite cooked. So I'll leave it in there to cook a little bit longer. We'll have a look at that in a second. So we'll put this on to cook now. There we go. So I didn't use that extra bowl that I washed up. I just used my pasta bowl. So we'll put that on to cook. There we go. Done. Now if you use frozen fruit, you just extend the cook time on the coulis. That's all you have to do, just to take it in consideration that it's frozen. Okay. So I need to do the next step of the easy peasy creamy chicken. Right. Hello there, Karen. Good to see you joining. Now, Helen, you think you found out what you was doing wrong. You discovered you'd used fresh milk recipe with UHT milk. Ah, yes. No, actually, that should still work because you're reheating the milk again, which would actually make it better. So I don't think that's the wrong thing, Helen. I probably need to chat with you to find out what's actually happening. All right, so let's do that together. All right, next thing to go into this recipe is the yogurt. So how much do I put in? Quite a lot. It's got 250 grams of yogurt in it. All right, so let's throw that in here. There we go. The leftover from the Greek yogurt. And then the puppies will be hanging around. Oh, there's a little bit extra. The puppies will be hanging around to get the rest of that. There's still a fair bit in there. I'll scrape that out and put it into a container in the sink. So you're in the 7, right? I need to chat with you, Helen, and we'll work out what's happening so that you don't waste your ingredients, because I do not like it when people end up wasting their ingredients when they're attempting to do their yogurt. Now, the one in the back left-hand corner looks like it's cooked. So let's have a little squeeze at that. Yeah, that's definitely cooked. If I balance that pie on there, look at that. Ta-da! I really need to put it on a plate. Hang on. I don't trust myself balancing it on that spatula. There we go. There's our little pie. Look at that. Perfect. And this one at the back looks like it's nearly done. So, I've just taken the lid off it. I should have left it on there. I'll leave it a little bit longer. Right, we'll leave it a little bit longer. But that one is going to be my dinner. I'm going to look like curry chicken the way I'm going. It's been a while since I'd actually made it, so I'd miss not eating it. All right, back to the easy peasy creamy chicken. So we've got the yogurt in there, and then I need to put the stock paste in there, and the cheese and a bit of mustard. So that's going in there as well. All right. And we use Parmesan cheese in this recipe because it's got a bit of sharpness to it. What's that? A bit of lemon juice and mango. That can go in there as well. Let me just turn the oven on. There we go. Done. Which I've forgotten to do. All right, so we're just going to blend this up. So we can use our mode, our blend mode, or you can just follow the manual steps in the book. So I'm just going to do that. And then I've got a little bit of grated cheese to go on top. So let's divide the mixture up. There we go. And I've got the other sauteed ingredients here, so I'll halve them out. Yep, that's long enough. Stop that. And then I just divide the mixture up between the 3. Ooh. My husband asked for this recipe tonight. He says, oh, I got you some chicken thigh fillets at the butcher's. I thought you could do that yummy chicken dish you haven't done for a while. And because I haven't been doing my lives, and because I've been on break, I've been on break from the kitchen as well. So we've been having some different things, like eggs on toast. Now remember I said I'd let these ingredients sit and let them sweat? There you go. That removes all the browning, and that goes into what you're eating. So that's where the flavour is, everyone, right? Joanne, I am making easy peasy creamy chicken here, and I'm doing a vegetarian version on this one for my daughter Amy. So, and I'm just going to put some chicken in each of these. Right, I'm not going to use all this chicken because it's just too much for the dish. And then I'm going to stir some pasta through there as well. Right. Who am I kidding? I'm going to use all the chicken. I'd rather have more chicken than pasta. Right, so I'll just give that a little stir through. And then I'm just going to stir the pasta through. And Amy's clearly doesn't have the bacon and the chicken in it, so I'll just put a little bit of pasta in hers. So here we've got the pasta, using your Varoma to strain the pasta. So I'll put a bit of pasta in Amy's and then some in the rest. So that just bulks it up a little bit. There we go, use it all up. So that was 300 grams of pasta that I've used. And then this one's for Amy. Oh, I can hear the pies sizzling. And then stir this one through. And then we're going to put the sauce on top of it. Sprinkle some cheese on top and then put it in the oven. Whoops. Pasta. Get in the bowl. Right. Can you see what I'm doing? Yes, you can. Awesome. All right. Now you can use any sort of pasta. I've just used the shell pasta tonight. I was going to use penne. I usually use the big spirals. They look really nice with it as well. And then what we've got here is the sauce that goes on top, and then we just mix it through. So let me do Amy's first. There we go. And then half on that one, and then half on that one. And then what happens, all the browning is loosened off the base of your bowl that we had in there previously. There we go. Done. And I'll just put it back on to flick off all the ingredients off your blade because you don't want to waste that either. So you can just use a quick little cheeky turbo. That'll work perfectly. Or you can just use speed 10, whichever. Anything for a dry spin, right? Anything that's high speed. I've just dropped something on the floor, so let me clean it up. I don't want to step in it. I can bend down a little bit easier now. So much better. All right, scrape the rest of this out and then I'll check the pies. So you can see how it's cleaned the top of your blade and it cleans underneath it as well. And then you're not wasting any ingredients. Okay, that's all done. Now it looks like the coulis done. I forgot to chop it up, so I'm going to have to chop it up now, which won't matter. Just give it a stir. Amy's going to love that. With a bit of sweet potato in it. And then we do this one. Oh yes, they're looking better now. They've browned up a little bit more. So I'd say the thermostat came on for the pie heater and kicked in. Oh, Jim's going to love this. There we go. So give it a good stir. Make sure your pasta's all coated in the sauce. So this, putting the pasta in it, I've got in the recipe that you can serve it with the pasta. But if you want to stir it through the recipe, this is exactly how you do it. Rather than putting the pasta on the side, you can pop the pasta in the recipe and bake it in the oven like this. There we go. Beautiful. All right, now these are great for freezing. You could chill this in the fridge and then put it in the freezer like this and then bake it. Even though the chicken, like I would use fresh chicken. Mind you, I've used frozen chicken and still done it, so. Yes, a hip and fix. I love it. Yes, it's been awesome. All right, we're going to put a little bit of cheese on top. Thank you. Who said that? Suzette. A little bit of cheese on top. This is optional. You don't have to put the cheese on top if you don't want to, but it just gives it a really nice finish. And then these are all going to go into the oven. So sometimes it can cook a little bit quicker because you've made a smaller dish. So let me just pop them in there now. There we go. And then I would just serve some greens with this. I'd just have some steamed broccoli, maybe some carrots and maybe some beans. Or if you want to, you can just have that because it's got the carbohydrate in it. So you can just serve it like that. Let's have a look at the coulis and then I'll show you the pies. So you can see I've got chunks of mango in there still. I don't want that. I want to break them down a bit. So I'm just going to give it a little chop around about speed 5 because it's a lot softer now because it's cooked off. All right, I'll tidy this up and then I can set the pies on here. What have I got? I need another spatula. There we go. I just did that for like 10 seconds. That was it. All right, let's get the pies out. So this one here is definitely done. It's got a little bit toasted. Let me get the cooler. Jeanette, you're really winging it with balancing your pie on a spatula while you're doing something else. There we go. Now this was the one that took, that's the one that took a little bit longer to cook. So I'm going to leave him in there. And then this one, let me lever him out. Get a spatula underneath him. There we go. That one's done. So I've got a little bit brown. Whoopsies. But that one can stay in there a little bit longer because he's not quite cooked, right? Hello, Fiona. You can watch the replay. Easy peasy, right? More inspiration tonight, Wendy. Wendy had chicken out last night. She was going to make something different. But after she watched the curry pie live last night, she was inspired to make it. So she sat down and she made, well, she didn't sit down. She stood up and she made the recipe and loved it. That's awesome. I love it. You've already done the pies with your leftover mix. That's great. Now, Crystal, once you heard someone complain their dish didn't have enough seasoning. I love cheesening. So now you use the word yourself. I'm going to use the word too. Thanks for sharing that. There's not enough cheesening. That's a great way to finish my Friday Night Live. Anyway, you've seen it all tonight. It's nearly 7:15. I'm going to try and be finished each session this year by 7:15. We have made easy peasy creamy chicken with an added pasta to flex the recipe out a bit. We've done the curry chicken pies, made the bulletproof pastry. I've shown you the yogurt reveal, and then the last little thing is the coulis. So I've got a jar here to pour this in. So this is mango coulis, and we absolutely love this on our yogurt. And I was going to use fresh mango tonight, and I'm like, oh no, I'll keep my fresh mango to eat, you know, with a spoon or a fork. And I'll use the frozen mango for the coulis. Look at that, delicious. And it's got a little hint of passion fruit in there. So there's the coulis. I will have to scrape out the dregs, right? So thanks for joining me tonight. I hope you enjoyed the little drink that I made earlier. And you all have a go at that this weekend or sometime soon. And let me know what you think, because I really think it's a winner. And if you haven't done mango coulis, it's the exact same method as what's in the book. I haven't used berries. I've just used mango and a little bit of passion fruit. So, and cut back the sugar a little bit. So I hope you've all enjoyed tonight's session. Have a great weekend. No, you did. I'm just reading everyone's comments. Awesome. All right, well, I'll see you all next week. Happy weekend. Take it easy and enjoy a little bit of relaxing. Have some you time. And I'll see you all back here next week. And if you haven't got a copy of the recipe book yet, head to thermogroovers.com.au, download a copy of way more than a yogurt recipe, way more for your family. I have 2 ebooks. The recipes are different. They both have the yogurt recipe in them to make it convenient for you. And you'll be cooking way more in your Thermomix. All right, we'll see you all next week. Bye.